welcome. You're watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Tanisha Avasthi. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 big stories that are making headlines not just nationally but also globally. And today we will tell you about different angles on these 2 top stories that we will be tracking. Number 1, Air India must be answerable to all those passengers who have lost their loved ones in the crash. Air India must answer on back-to-back technical snags and the hydraulic failures that their airlines have been facing. And also Air India must be answerable to those passengers who pay a hefty amount to travel via their airlines only to remain stranded. The aviation crisis, ladies and gentlemen, is unending. Just today, there have been at least 5 incidents of technical snags and hydraulic failures of flights being grounded, and we'll get you inside the details of what all snags have been reported. Meanwhile, what has also been reported are back-to-back bomb scare threats on multiple flights, and the latest being that of an Indigo flight that was grounded in Kolkata. We will also take you through the other big story that we are tracking, which is the Iran-Israel conflict, which is unending. There's no respite that is in sight. There have been damage, destruction and loss of lives in both Iran and Israel in what is now being seen as a tit-for-tat strike. And with the massive escalation of the conflict, are we on the brink of World War III? How are the world leaders reacting to it? We have the top focus on the agenda-setting stories, the top main stories at 6 p.m. today. Let's get started first up with the top story. Ladies and gentlemen, Air India, known as Maharaja, is completely losing on its name now. This after back-to-back incidents of technical snags, hydraulic failure and a lot more. Let's first take you through the 2 major incidents that have been reported today that left passengers worried, stranded. Now the visual that you see on your screen is from the Ahmedabad Airport. Air India today cancelled its Ahmedabad to London airline, that was AI-159. The flight was originally scheduled to depart from London at 10 p.m. on June 16 and arrive in Ahmedabad at 9:20 a.m. on June 17. But it departed at 11:16 p.m. from London on June 16 and arrived in Ahmedabad at 1:24 p.m. on June 17. It was rescheduled to depart from Ahmedabad at 3 p.m. but later it was cancelled. The official statement is what they say. The preliminary probe in the report on today flight cancellation says that the AI-159 Ahmedabad to London was flying with minimum equipment list. As a result, the passengers were stranded and this is their ordeal.
ये फ़्लाइट कैंसिल क्यों हुई? आपने कितनी बार ये फ़्लाइट कैंसिल हुई है? आप कब आए, कितने बजे आए? आपका परिवार भी आपके साथ आया है, कुछ बताएंगे?
I booked a flight on 14 June because we want to back in London on 14 June. But on the 13 June, I got an email that you have to cancel this flight because of the atmosphere and weather. So they messaged me, emailed me that you have to reschedule your ticket. And on they emailed me that you have to reschedule on 17 June. I got email on 12 p.m. in the morning that your flight is cancelled. 17 June flight cancelled. So my husband is there on the window and he's doing that. We want to do new flight and they are doing.
तो यही सेम फ्लाइट पहले 2 बार और भी कैंसिल हो चुकी है?
हाँ, 2 बार हमारी ये फ्लाइट कैंसिल हुई है और एयर इंडिया कोई जवाब नहीं देते. हम मैसेज भी करते तो इतना होल्ड होता है, हमको 15-15 मिनट होल्ड रखना पड़ता है और हमको सामने से भी अच्छा कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आता है एयर इंडिया में से. अब हम लोग अभी अगली बार से एयर इंडिया में आने वाले नहीं है.
हम इधर आए तो बता रहे थे कि फ्लाइट है वो डिले हुई है 3 आवर्स. सो हमको 1 PM की जगह 3 PM का टाइम दिया और अभी जब टाइम बोर्डिंग का आया, अंदर जाने का है, चेक इन का टाइम आया तो वो लोग बोल रहे हैं कि अब फ्लाइट कैंसिल हो गई है. सो वो लोग अच्छे से रिफंड का भी आंसर नहीं दे रहे हैं. हम लोग कॉल सेंटर में बात कर रहे हैं, वहाँ भी कोई भी कॉल रिसीव नहीं कर रहा है और वो लोग यही बता रहे हैं कि हम आपको 10-15 दिन में रिफंड कर देंगे.
Did they tell you what is the reason behind the cancellation of this particular air?
Actually, when we reached here, there are 3-4 persons from the Air India Airlines, and the reasons stated by them are different. There are 3 persons who are here to respond. and each and every person is giving a different reply. One is saying that there is some technical issue. The second one is saying that there is a delay in the flight to reach here from Delhi to Ahmedabad. Therefore, today takeoff is not possible, and other reasons are being stated which are not plausible.
Now, you heard what the passengers had to say. They were stranded. They were upset about the services that Air India was providing them. This is just one incident. Another Air India flight, this time from San Francisco to Mumbai via Kolkata, suffered a technical snag in one of its engines, forcing passengers to deplane during the scheduled halt. Now, flight AI 180, a Boeing 777-200LR, landed at Kolkata at around 1:25 a.m. and was scheduled to depart for Mumbai at 2 a.m. However, during its scheduled halt, a technical snag was detected in the aircraft's left engine, delaying its onward journey. At around 5:20 a.m., an announcement was made on board asking all passengers to deplane. The aircraft's captain informed the flyers that the step was being taken in the interest of flight safety. Visuals from Kolkata Airport showed the aircraft grounded on the tarmac with airline personnel inspecting the faulty engine. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, it was just yesterday when Air India Dreamliner AI315 flying from Hong Kong to Delhi returned mid-air due to suspected technical issue. The aircraft was a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, the same model that was involved in the recent Air India flight crash 171 near Ahmedabad that killed over more than 200 people. Now, in a separate incident, British Airways flight BA35 bound for Chennai was forced to return to London after a technical fault. Today alone, there have been 5 Air India incidents that have been reported. Let's take a look at what are those 5 incidents that have been reported. We'll take you through the first set of incidents that has been reported. Remember, there are multiple technical snags that have been reported in the Air India flights. This one is from today. It is AI2493. Now, there was an air scare on Mumbai-Ahmedabad plane, another plane which had an air snag. And this was just one of the incidents. As a result, the passengers were told to deplane. There was inspection, there was checks going on. And all of this was happening after the passengers had already boarded the flight. Another incident that we are going to talk about here is again of Air India, where it was again on June 17, that is today, when there was another air scare at the plane, after which the passengers were left stranded. This is from the Ahmedabad to London flight. Now, there were operational issue delays in the flight. We'll quickly move forward about what was the other delays that were detected. Flight was cancelled over FDTL. Now, there were some certain technical snags that were reported that Air India had told their passengers after they had boarded the plane already. Now, the tech snag on San Francisco to Mumbai via Kolkata flight had also been reported. The same flight was grounded, after which technical snag was reported in the left engine, which we already have told you about. Another snag that was reported was that the technical snag delayed the flight from Kolkata. So, a huge long hours of delay, nearly 5 to 6 hours is what left the passengers stranded. Another incident was of AI915. Again, this is from today, where Delhi to Dubai AI915 flight was stranded. Flight was cancelled from both Delhi and Dubai, after which we know that there has been no update from the airline so far on what is going on. There was a technical issue in Air India Boeing B787 aircraft. Remember, now there are 787 Boeing aircrafts that have been reporting technical snags back to back, and the question remains on why is there no action being taken from Air India? Why are these specific Boeing aircrafts not grounded yet? Another incident is of AI143, where Air India's Delhi to Paris flight was cancelled. All of these are international airlines. Remember, passengers pay a hefty amount to get on those flights to reach the destination that they want to leave. At the end of the day, they realize that these flights are going to remain grounded. There was a hydraulic leak, in fact, that was reported in the Boeing 787 aircraft, the same hydraulic failure that was reported on other aircrafts as well. Another incident, now this is from June 16, where Hong Kong to Delhi flight makes a U-turn. So, Yesterday, there were about 3 incidents that were reported. Today, there are nearly 5 Air India planes that have been grounded on certain technical snags that were reported. So there are multiple snags that have been reported. And with that, we move on to the other stories that we're tracking on the broadcast, where we are being joined by an aviation expert. Amit Singh is joining us on the broadcast. He's an aviation expert to give us more insight on what could be the possible reasons of back-to-back hydraulic failures, back-to-back technical snags. Amit Singh, thank you very much for speaking to Republic. Now, these are the specifications that we just detailed out to our viewers, and most of it has been coming for Air India. It seems that no lessons have been learned after the fatal crash that happened in Ahmedabad. Where do you see this going forward?
Basically, the safety culture which is prevailing in the airline and industry as such, it's not that faults were not happening earlier. It's just that fear has set in now. So before, if the pilot was being forced to take a faulty aircraft or an aircraft with multiple faults so that there is no delay or effect on the schedule, now the pilots perhaps are refusing or getting more jittery because they do not know the consequences and they do not want to meet the consequences, what we have seen in the recent past. So this is the reason why suddenly, all of a sudden, a number of faults suddenly crop up. So this is the culture in the airline. We have seen in the past, while in Indian Airlines, there were a spate of hydraulic failures on the Airbus 320.
Right.
And inquiry revealed that it was the faulty, cheap spare part which was being imported and installed, so that would fail repeatedly. So repeated snags are of serious nature.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure the aircraft which went down also had certain repeated faults. And it is a very serious issue which the regulator must take it up seriously so that there is some kind of assurance, because nobody is giving an assurance to the public, neither the airline nor the regulator, that flying is still safe. It is safe statistically, but somebody has to come out in the open that yes,
Right,
we
sir.
have the system under control.
Right, sir. Amit Singh, I request you to stay with me because what we're going to do right now for our viewers is we're going to report another incident that happened, and this time this is from an Indigo Airlines. Now, in another incident of a similar case, an Indigo flight 6E2706 from Muscat to Delhi via Kochi made an emergency landing at the Nagpur airport after a bomb threat was received. Now, the Kochi International Airport Limited said that the bomb threat was received with regard to the Indigo flight, which arrived here from Muscat and departed for Delhi, prompting them to make an emergency landing at Nagpur airport for undergoing inspection. It said that the threat was received on its official email ID about the Indigo flight, which departed for Delhi with 157 passengers and 6 crew at 9:31 a.m. On the same, I am also being joined by Amit Singh, aviation expert, continues to stay with us. Amit Singh, these are concentrated efforts that we see that have been going on, and it's not something new. There have been cases of hoax bomb threats that have been given to airlines. What do you think would be the possible reasons on why these airlines are receiving bomb threats? What could be the intention? Is it an attempt to create panic among the passengers?
Generally, to destabilize aviation, when something unfortunate has happened, the airline is under stress, the aviation industry is under stress. So this is the easiest thing to mount some more stress to break basically the system. And aviation as such, we have such a big footprint, and everybody is traveling and they're booked for the summer season. So this is the travel season. That is when people want, who are against the interest of the country basically, to bring the system down. So
Next
that is
video.
one of the easiest thing to do.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking to Republic and sharing your views on that. With that, we move forward to the other stories that we're tracking on the broadcast, and this has made headlines globally. Now, Israel and Iran launched a new round of attacks as the conflict between the two heavily armed rivals entered day 5th. Israel said it had killed Ali Shadmani, Iran's new wartime chief of staff and country's most senior military commander. His predecessor was killed in Israel's initial attack, and this happened on Friday. At least 224 people have been killed since Israel began bombing Iran on Friday. Now, Iranian state media reported while Iranian retaliatory strikes have killed at least 24 people in Israel. Let's also take you through the key areas that have been hit in both Iran and Israel. Now remember, there have been loss of lives, there have been destruction as far as the escalation in the conflict is concerned. There seems to be no respite that is in sight, there seems to be no end. The world leaders are raising alarm, and the G7 leaders in fact are also issuing a statement. They have said that they back Israel and that Israel has the right to defend. Let's also take you through the key areas that have been hit by Israel. Now, these are certain key bases that Israel claims it has hit, and this happened in the span of 12th to 16th of June. Number one is Tabriz, where explosion was reported near a nuclear research center. Remember, both of them are nuclear heavy nations. Another strike that was reported was in Tehran, another one which was reported at Natanz, and refueling plane at the airport was also hit. However, it is Iran that claims that no damage has occurred so far after the Israel strike on them. We'll also take you through about the areas that have been hit by Iran. Now, one of the key areas that have been hit is Haifa. And there are several buildings that have been hit. Remember, we got you visuals of destruction that have been seen in Haifa city. Another one is Tel Aviv. It's the major point of flashpoint where there have been certain damages that have been reported. Western Galley also remains one of the areas that Iran claims it has hit. And remember, all of this at a point in time that happened between 12th to 16th of June. So these are the key areas where Iran claims that it has hit. The escalation is only widening. Now, in its latest offensive, Israel has launched targeted airstrikes. What we do know so far is that there are also some Indian students in Iran that are being relocated to safer places within the country. The government has said that in a statement, stressing that other feasible options were also being examined. Now, the development comes as Israel and Iran continue to trade missiles, with neither side showing any sign of backing down. The parents have appealed to the Prime Minister and External Affairs Minister S. Shankar to intervene and facilitate the safe return of these Indian students. The majority, remember, of these students stranded in Tehran and several other cities of Iran are pursuing professional courses, mainly MBBS. We spoke to the family of these students who have been stranded. Listen in.
Daughter of the family who's studying in Shiraz University. And she is the one who's still been stuck there, and I'm joined by her father, Nisar.
जी मैम, वो शिराज मेडिकल यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ रही है. 2-4 दिन पहले जब ये वार स्टार्ट हो गया बिटवीन इसराइल एंड ईरान, तो वो बहुत डरे हुए थे. तो पहले दिन तो उतने डरे हुए नहीं थे, लेकिन जैसे जैसे वो दिन चढ़ता गया तो वहाँ से भी रॉकेट आ रहे हैं, यहाँ से भी रॉकेट आ रहे हैं. तो वो हॉस्टल में स्टक थे. तो फिर वो क्या करते, या हम फ़ोन करते, हम क्या कर सकते थे. फिर यूनिवर्सिटी वालों से कांटेक्ट किया. यूनिवर्सिटी बोलने वाला, आप हॉस्टल में रहिए, आप बाहर मत निकले, हम देखते हैं क्या हालात रहेंगे, उसी हिसाब से करेंगे. तो रात को ज़्यादा जब वहाँ रॉकेट वगैरह मिसाइल चलने लगे तो वो बहुत डरे हुए, सहमे हुए थे. तो फिर उन्होंने हमारे साथ कांटेक्ट किया, हम क्या कर सकते थे. फिर लकीली हम थैंकफुल है इंडियन एम्बेसी के जो वहाँ ईरान में है, उनने उनके साथ कांटेक्ट किया, उनको अपना व्हाट्सअप नंबर दिया, कांटेक्ट नंबर, बोला आप घबराइए मत, हम कोशिश करेंगे कि हालात कैसे रहेंगे उस हिसाब से हम कोशिश करेंगे कि आपको सेफ जगह इवैक्यूएट करेंगे.
तो अभी तक इवैक्यूएशन हुआ है क्या?
आज मॉर्निंग में मेरी बेटी के साथ बात हुई, इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड टाइम 7 AM, तो वहाँ तेहरान में 5 AM थे, तो उनको उस टाइम इवैक्यूएट कर रहे थे वहाँ से सेफर प्लेस. इंडियन एम्बेसी की तरफ से उनका फुल सपोर्ट उनसे मिला, इंडियन एम्बेसी की तरफ से. वो कंटिन्यू इन दोनों उनके साथ टच में थे. वो 3-4 दिन से सोए नहीं, क्योंकि वहाँ उस होस्ट में लड़कियाँ हैं, 80% कश्मीरी है, लेबनानीज, इराकी और भी कई कंट्री की लड़कियां हैं. वहाँ लड़कियों का ही हॉस्टल है वो. तो लेकिन सपोर्ट बहुत ही मिला उनको यूनिवर्सिटी वालों ने भी सपोर्ट किया, तो एम्बेसी वालों ने उनके
बच्चे जो है वो आपकी बेटी के साथ वहाँ फंसे हुए, कुछ बताया?
वहाँ उसने बताया कि हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी के 200 लड़कियाँ थी। जी जी जी।
Ladies and gentlemen, the Israeli Air Force destroyed more than 20 surface-to-surface missiles last night before they were launched towards the state of Israel by Iran. Now, the Israeli Air Force completed several waves of strike overnight, targeting approximately 100 military targets in central Iran. Now, let's get you the key visuals that are surfacing across Iran and Israel. One of the key videos shows how far the destruction has happened. Remember, there are certain nuclear sites as well that have been hit. There are certain videos that have circulated, and to access and tell us about the damage and destruction that has happened, we are being joined by our reporter Nick, who is joining live from Tel Aviv. Nick, talk to us about what are the kind of destruction that Tel Aviv specifically has gone through since you're reporting from there, and what is the situation so far as the ground is concerned?
Here behind me you can see one of the targets of the Iranian missiles. Here you can see kids supposed to be. This is one of their bird and kangaroo paintings. And inside of this bus, around 70 children supposed to be, because those buses, 10 of them, are taking each morning the children to the kindergartens and to the schools. But all of them, as you can see, are completely destroyed just from one ballistic missile fired from Iran. And it happened in the morning, exactly at the time when those children supposed to go to schools, to kindergartens. And just because Israel decided to close all the schools, kindergartens, and workplaces, because of the emergency situation, no one was here, but otherwise it could be a huge tragedy. You can see how all of those buses are destroyed. And now I will show you a huge hole that this ballistic missile made inside of the area here. And then you can also see behind how close are the residential buildings, kindergartens, schools. They're all here, close to this hole. You see, this is what happened from one ballistic missile that Iran shot towards Israel. I will now go inside so you'll see how huge the hole. This is the hole from one ballistic missile of Iran. And they were targeting civilians in Israel. They were targeting buses that are taking children to the school, to kindergartens, and residential areas here. There are no military targets here all around. And this is what Iran doing for 5 days. They are striking civilian residential areas all across Israel. Back to you.
Thank you very much for getting us those ground reports. All eyes are now on how the situation is going to pan out, because there seems to be no relief, no respite that have been seen. Moving on, the G7 summit has cracked under the pressure of war. And remember, G7 has also released a statement. They have completely backed Israel. We're keeping a very close watch on that, as Prime Minister Modi will also be attending the G7 summit. And that is all that we could pack in this edition of 6 Stories at 6. We will be back tomorrow with more agenda setting stories at 6 p.m. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next after the break is Live and Breaking.